Good evening and thanks for joining us. It is, of course, Remembrance Day, and we will have complete coverage of how Canadians mark the day today. But we want to begin with the tragedy in the Philippines, where it is a race against time to help millions hit by Typhoon Haiyan. One of the worst storms ever, it left utter devastation in its wake. Some seaside towns are wiped out. Bodies are still strewn on the streets. Exact numbers are unclear, but at least 10,000 people are believed to have died, and the UN says 2.5 million survivors desperately need food and water. Our reporting tonight begins with Paul Johnson.
How do you deliver food, water, and medicine to hundreds of thousands when the conditions are like this? That's the challenge facing the Philippines. Foreign governments and aid groups now on the ground, running a race against time where the stakes are life and death. Please tell my family I'm alive, this woman says. We need water and medicine because a lot of the people we are with are wounded. And there are disturbing reports of lawlessness and looting.
You have to understand that the people here show some, and just a few, some violent actions because they're hungry, because they're thirsty.
It's really quite impossible right now to gather all the necessary information to ascertain the real extent of the damage and how many people really died or how many are still missing.
The number of people who are feared dead runs into tens of thousands. What we know is that the people who are there now, who survived this disaster, need our help.
The help is coming, but there are limits to how much the Philippines government and its military have been able to do. Today, reporters caught the first glimpse of U.S. Marines, their cargo planes now providing a critical transport link to the places where supplies are needed, and more is on the way.
As of today, we have conducted 2 sorties with our Marine KC-130s. We transported multiple pallets of relief supplies and moved nearly 100 Philippine military service members.
But even amidst so much tragedy, there was this small miracle. 21-year-old Emily Ortega giving birth in the wreckage of the Tacloban airport. She had a healthy baby girl. Paul Johnson, Global News.
The scale of what people there are facing is hard to comprehend. Some areas haven't even been accessed yet. Aid workers and rescuers simply can't get there. And the more time passes in 32-degree heat with no food, water, or shelter, the more the death toll is certain to rise. NBC's Ian Williams is in Manila tonight. Ian?
Hello, Donna. The head of the Philippine Red Cross this afternoon described the situation in the disaster zone as bedlam. Getting aid in there presents an enormous logistical challenge. It is beginning to come in. The US military, the Philippine Armed Forces are bringing aircraft into the airfield at Tacloban, which of course was one of the worst hit areas. They're concentrating on things that are particularly needed now, such as water purification tablets, shelter, things which, but the basic things, generators as well, which are needed to get the place up and running again. NGOs are talking about bringing in ships with supplies, but the challenges are enormous. Rescue workers are still trying to reach some of the more outlying areas, some of the areas which were hardest hit, but where power is still down, communications have not yet been restored, and where the roads are still blocked. The situation in Tacloban is particularly tense. That's where there's been some looting. That's where people are beginning to get desperate. The government is aware it needs to get supplies in there, and it needs to get them in there fast, but the challenges are daunting, Donna.
They absolutely are. Ian Williams in Manila, thank you.